So the next part of this procedure in creating this service learning system is what we want to do is we want to go into the learning supervisor form, and what we need to do is populate these fields. So this field here and this field here. Where it says select the name and date of the student, that's what we want to appear where it says option 1, and the same goes for here. What we want to do is concatenate this cell with this cell to get one value. So in order to do that, well, I'm going to show you first how not to do it. Okay, so rather than using the concatenate formula, what we don't want to do is say, okay, we want to concatenate the name, and then we're going to put a space, and then concatenate the date in the brackets. And what that's going to do, as you can see, it's turned the date into a value. Now we don't want that. We want the actual date to be put there. So in order to do that, we want to build the formula. So we're going to build it with a formula called text, and that text is going to take the date, and then we're going to say comma, and we want the format. So in quotes, we're going to say month, day, year. We want 4 Ys because we want the 4 digits of the year. And you can see there, it's actually put the date there, what it's going to pull out. And then end the bracket, so there's our date. So now what we need to do, we need to add the name to this as well. So we're going to go to the front of this formula here, and then just go back to our name, and we're going to put B2 in. Instead of using the concatenate function this time, we're going to use ampersand. And we stick ampersand in there, and you can see what it's doing already. But in between the name and the date, we need to put a delimiter. Now I'm going to use a colon, because a colon would never appear in a name, and it may appear in a date, but we're using the backslash in the date, so it's not going to see that as a delimiter. And then we're going to use space, quote, ampersand, and then we've got, you can see here what the result of that formula is going to be. So has solo, colon, and then the date. Press return, and you can see there it's put that date in. Now I'm just going to copy that down. All right, so we're going to come on to something else later on where it automatically will copy things down. But for now, let's just copy these down. Now we can go back to service 1, and we can see there that service 1, we've got the 2 values inserted in there, and service 2, it's in there as well. We've got our new column in there. Okay, so then we can go back to our supervisor form, and we're going to use add-ons. Now the one that you want is called Formranger. Okay, if you haven't got the add-on and you don't see this little jigsaw puzzle, then you need to go over to the 3 dots here, go to add-ons, and then type in Formranger, and then we install it in the usual way of installing an add-on. So this one, as you can see, it's already installed. So we're going to cancel that, and we're going to go to our add-ons, and then I'm going to click Formranger. Then let's click Start. Okay, this version of Formranger needs an update, so we're going to continue, and then just allow that. So here is our Formranger, and this is our submission. Now we want this to be submitted on submitter form, and let's do every hour as well, because we want this updating as often as possible. What we want to do now is go down to service 1, and we want the service 1 student name. So let's click on the service 1 student name. So this is the question, this is related to this question here. So we want to populate the values from a list. Now it's now asking us where is the information that we want to grab. So we want to grab the information from student service learning responses. So let's select that. Now it's asking you what sheet we want to select that data from. Now the sheet that we want is service 1 for this particular service, because we are here, we're in service 1, so we want that service. And select the column header. So the column header we want is going to be our new name of student and date of service column. And there you can see it's pulled in that data. And now we can say next. Now we need to give it a name. It's important at this point to get a really good naming convention. So I'm going to use name and date. And in front of it, actually, let's put S1 for service 1, name and date. And then we're going to save and populate. There you can see it's populated the fields. We have our 2 fields there. Now we need to do the same thing for service 2. So we can click on service 2 over here, populate from list. Now this time it's asking us, do we want the same? We don't. We want to create a new value. Okay, so let's click on New Values List. And again, we want to use Student Service Learning Responses and select. This time we want Service 2. And again, we want Name of Student and Date of Service. And there we go, it's pulled in that data, and let's click Next. And let's give it a name. So this is called S2, Name and Dates. Save and populate. And there we go, we have our population of the two data. So when we run this form now, we can say Service 1, Next, and then we can choose our different name and date from this list here. So that's how we populate the form with the information that we need so the supervisor can fill out the form correctly. In the next video, we're going to look at how we can use then that data from the supervisor form to populate the student spreadsheet.